the name given to an extended lyric poem characterized by exalted emotion and dignified style. An ode usually concerns a single serious theme. Most odes, but not all, addressed to an object or individual. Odes are distinguished from other lyric poetic forms by their complex rhythmic and stanzaic patterns. This is the definition of the ode. Good morning students. In this video we are going to see about the topic ode. Let's see the distinguished features of the word. Ode is originated from Greek and it belongs to the long and varied tradition of lyric poetry. In Greek, this word ode means a song. It was used by the Greeks for any kinds of lyric in verse. An English word may be defined as a lyric poem of elaborated metrical structure, solemn in tone and usually taking the form of address. It's a serious and dignified composition, always rhyme and longer than lyric. Ode is actually addressed to a person or any public occasion. It always addresses something or someone. It can be a person or it can be addressed to any kind of place or anything. That is called ode. The ode has to have the following features. It should be in the form of an address, not written about but written to, as in Shelley's Ode to Skylark. Ode to Skylark means the poet Shelley addressed to the Shylock. It is lyrical with emotional intensity. So the superior, its a subject matter, it should be superior, and the tone and style should be elevated, must be advanced than any other things. And the poet serious in the subject and its presentation. It's not like just like presenting or something. The subject matter and also the presentation should be very, very serious. For an example, William Wordsworth's Ode on the Intimations of Immortality. It is a best example of the ode. So it has the serious topic and also the style and the tones are very, very elevated. And the development of the thought is, it should be logical. The thought should be logical and it may be regular or irregular in meter. Okay, the meter can be regular or irregular, but the thought should be logical and developmental. And the last point is romantic poets to convey their strongest sentiments through ode. Yes, exactly. All the romantic poets, if they had some grievances or some grief in their heart, they conveyed their thoughts in the sentiment through this ode. And then the emotion is very, very deep and very sincere. For an example, there are many words. It was addressed to many persons. Personally, I like the ode of John Keats, Ode to a Nightingale. That is the very famous and also my very, very favorite, one of the very favorite poem in ode category. And its expression is consciously elaborate, impressive and diffuse. Diffuse means to spread to everybody, to all the places and everything. And then the opening line sometimes has quotation mark. It has to be in the quotation mark. For an example, all these words are started with the quotation mark. Ode to the west wind, ode on a Grecian urn, to Virgil, and then finally my favorite one, ode to a nightingale. So these are the lines started with the quotation mark. And most of its theme would be public events like national jubilee, death of an important person, etc. For an example, Andrew marvels upon Cromwell's return from Ireland. So it is also a public event about the leader Cromwell. He is returning from Ireland. And then Alfred Lord Tennyson's Ode on the death of Duke Wellington. So it is also a public event. Okay, the death of Duke Wellington. It is addressed in a ode form, especially in very sentimental mode. And then next we see the types of odes. The first type is Dorian ode or Pindaric ode. Okay, we can call either Dorian ode or Pindaric ode. So this type of ode, Pindaric ode, Horatian ode, or and then finally irregular ode, these are the three types we have. Okay, Dorian ode was the choric and was sung to the accompaniment of a dance. Its structure was borrowed from the movements of the dancers. So it is a dance form. It is borrowed from the dancers. Okay, Pindaric odes were performed with the chorus and the dancers. Mostly they used to perform chorus and dancers, and often it was composed to celebrate athletic victories. Okay, in ancient Roman Greek people, they celebrate, they used to give importance to sports and everything, and some very great sports. So in order to celebrate all those victory, they used to celebrate in this manner. You can see in the Tamil epic film Ayirathil Oruvan. In that film also, after the protagonist Karthi was defeated the giant, the Chola, the last king of Chola, was celebrated that victory in a very grand manner. There won't be any lyric, but the chorus, and also they had a dance. Okay, so that is a best example I would like to say. And then its structure was borrowed from the movements of the dancers, as I told you, and then it has the formal opening or strophe. Of its strophe, it has the complex metrical structure followed by an antistrophe, which mirrors the opening, and an epode, closing section of a different length and composed with a different metrical structure. Now let me explain these strophe, antistrophe, and epode. Okay, strophe, it is during the recitation of which the dancers made a turn from right to left. If the dancers made a turn from right to left, it's called strophe. A similar stanza form known as the antistrophe. There is another similar stanza form called antistrophe. It is during the recitation of which the dancers made a counter turn, which means from left to right. Okay, when the dancers turn left to right, it's called antistrophe. When the dancers turn right to left, it's called strophe. And then finally, epode, the third stanza form. It is different in structure than the previous two. Epode, during the recitation which the dancers stood still. It is a pause. Okay, it is a literary tableau. It is a pause. This is called epode. This sequence of strophe, antistrophe, and epode could be represented by any number of times in the ode. Okay, so there won't be any restrictions to be followed. This strophe, antistrophe, and epode, it can be continuously come at any time. For an example, Wordsworth's the same ode on the intimations of immortality from recollections of early childhood, and Thomas Gray's the progress of poesy. So these are the examples for the Pindaric ode or Dorian ode. Next we see Horatian ode or lesbian ode. Okay, lesbian ode is a name of a place. So from that place it came, so the name lesbian has given here, or otherwise called Horatian ode. Okay, it named after the Roman poet Horace. Okay, Horace is the name of a poet. He coined that particular ode, so therefore the name of the poet was given here, Horatian ode. It consists of a number of short stanza, similar in length and in arrangement. Okay, it was popularized in Latin by two great Roman writers. One is Horace and another one is Catullus. Okay, so these are the two writers who developed this form. It is very less formal and less ceremonious and better suited to quiet reading than theatrical production. You can see the first one, Dorian ode, it is mainly for the performance of the dance. But here, this word, Horatian ode is a less formal and it is suitable for reading than to be performed in the theater in front of the audience. And Horatian ode typically uses a regular short stanza pattern. Okay, it is very short in stanza. It is easier to imitate by English writers. Okay, so these two words are from Greek and Roman writers. So this particular type Horatian word is very easier to imitate by the English people. Okay, later the romantic writers like Shelley, Keats and Byron, they came and they developed in the words in the English region. It is popular in Latin by Roman writers. As of course I told you, it is very famous in the Latin language with the Roman writers. And then for an example, there is a couple of examples of English writers here. Alan Tate's his poem Ode to the Confederate Dead, and then Andrew Marvell's upon Cromwell's written from Ireland. These two are the very example for the Horatian English word. Okay. The regular word, which means the Pindaric word, let me just tell you in short summary. Now let me just bring back the what we saw in the previous slides. Pindaric word. Okay, Pindar is the greatest lyric poet of ancient Greece to 5th to 6th BC. Was the father of Pindaric or choric word. Pindar were written to praise and glorify someone. Pindar was the greatest lyric poet. He wrote odes to honor God or to sing the triumphs or victories of rules or athletes. They are also known as triumphal odes. When they succeed in something, they used to celebrate it. It followed the fixed stanza structure. The number of stanza may vary. Stanzas are arranged and they are called triad. The first one is called strophe, and then antistrophe, and then final one is called epod. There is also variation in metrical in length. So later Cowley introduced the Pindaric words in English. He imitated Pindaric words. He introduced new verse form with irregular stanzas and without any fixed system of meter by rhyme. The true Pindaric is triad was introduced by Dryden in his Ode to Saint Cecilian, and then Alexander Feast by Grace the Bard, The Progress of Poesy. But some of the greatest words in English are irregular kinds, such as Tennyson's Ode on the Death of Duke Wellington, Shelley's Ode to Liberty, and then of course the famous one, Wordsworth's Ode on the Intimations of Immortality. So these are the words with irregular forms. Okay, and then Horatian word is named after the poet Horace. He was imitated Pindar with little modifications. Okay, it has much less regular metrical and a less regular structure. It has not followed any strict prohibitions of the Pindaric word. So okay, so it is very more like a blank verse and very free to use it. Okay, the example for this Horatian word is Grace Eton Ode, Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, and Wordsworth Ode to Duty, and Keats Ode to a Nightingale, and Ode to Autumn. So since it is very easier to imitate, most of the writers have chosen this particular type of words in their writing. Okay, and finally the words in other ages. Okay, there are some other age writers in Victorian era. Tennyson and Algernon Swinburne are the greatest writers of the words. Tennyson wrote Ode on the Death of Duke of Wellington, Ode for the opening of the International Exhibition, and Ode to Memory. And finally, Francis Thompson also wrote The Hounds of Heavens, a religious ode. Hopkins' Ode on the Wreck of Dewsland is also an ecclesiastical ode. These are the words in other upcoming ages. Okay, so far we have covered the lecture on word. Okay, I think this will be more informative for you, but I want you to go through by yourself the lecture again and again, so only you will be able to understand it better. Okay, thank you. We'll see about the next topic in the next video. Thank you.